If you travel to Italy to see the Shroud of Turin, you will likely wait in long lines and have only about 90 seconds in front of the shroud. But now, one museum in our nation's capital is giving visitors a chance this Lent to stand in front of an image of the shroud for as long as you would like. EWTN News contributor Catherine Hadro tells us more.
In our world obsessed with photos and taking selfies, what if there exists an image of the man at the very center of Christianity?
In a way, the shroud is the first viral image.
The Shroud of Turin is believed by many Christians to be Jesus Christ's burial cloth, a relic of the resurrection. Dr. Jeff Kloa, Chief Curatorial Officer for the Museum of the Bible, explains.
The Shroud of Turin is a 14-foot-long linen cloth that has a mysteriously formed and very evocative image of a man who was crucified.
Tomorrow, the Museum of the Bible, located in the heart of Washington, D.C., will open their Mystery and Faith Shroud of Turin exhibit. The actual Shroud of Turin is stored in Turin, Italy, where it's been at the center of debate, speculation, and scientific experiments since its first mention in 1389. At the time, the Bishop of Troyes called the shroud a fake. Brian Hyland, a historian and curator for the museum, explains the shroud's mysterious beginning.
In a famous memorandum, which he may or may not have actually sent to Antipope Clement VII, it says that his predecessor as the Bishop of Troyes 35 years earlier had found the artist who had made it, and he confessed to having done it. Now, I hasten to point out that he produces no proof of that.
Scientific experiments performed in the 1970s revealed the shroud was not a man-made image. It had real blood, and there were even pollen grains on it from the Holy Land. Then, in what's sparked more debate, radiocarbon dating tests carried out in the 1980s put the shroud in the Middle Ages. The Catholic Church does not take an official position with the Shroud of Turin, but modern popes have often visited it, expressing great gratitude.
Pope St. John Paul II referred to the Shroud of Turin as a mirror of the gospel. We paired that phrase with some of the writings of Pope Benedict, and he called it an icon of Holy Saturday, and he suggested that it's best understood through the eyes of faith.
The Museum of the Bible's new exhibit features a one-of-its-kind replica of the shroud.
It is an incredible facsimile. It was woven in a traditional herringbone pattern that looks exactly like the pattern of the shroud itself.
The Shroud of Turin exhibit includes 5 different sections and a number of artifacts, as it all highlights the Gospels and the story of the shroud.
We have a lot of interactives, but one in particular stands out, and that is the 3D touch table that we have. The technology to take a flat two-dimensional image and turn it into a 3D image so that a person who is blind or a person who has limited sight can see the image through touch. When you touch some of the sensors, you will hear played back for you a quotation from the Gospels.
John 19:2. And the soldiers wove a crown of thorns and put it on his head.
There are 8 interactives in this exhibit, from this interactive timeline, which explains the history of the shroud, to this selfie stand, which reveals a negative picture of your selfie, just like the shroud. The shroud reveals the brutal injuries that a man suffered in a crucifixion. Experts say the man of the shroud was between 5 foot 11 inches and 6 foot 1.
He bled profusely because you can see clots of blood in the hair as well. When you look at the face, you can see that the face shows signs of these beatings. The nose is slightly dislocated, and the cheeks are battered and swollen.
Whether or not you believe the man of the shroud is Jesus of Nazareth, the Museum of the Bible hopes you'll put on a lens of faith this Lent and linger in front of the image.
Regardless of what you think about the shroud and its authenticity, it is an intriguing object, and it forces us to think about some very interesting and important questions.
Open through July 31st, the Mystery and Faith Shroud of Turin exhibit offers a true confrontation with crucifixion.
It's horrifying, and yet at the same time, it's inspiring, because if this is indeed the genuine burial cloth, it shows what Jesus went through in a way that no other artifact does.
In Washington, Catherine Hadro, EWTN News Nightly.